So watching the new episode of Percy Jackson, I just think we really need to appreciate how good Aryan is at playing Grover Underwood, because I think we're all very naturally sensitive when our favourite book characters are portrayed on screen. We feel really protective and we want them to be portrayed accurately, and all of these kids in the Percy Jackson series are acing it. But there's that scene in the new Percy Jackson episode where Aryan as Grover is shoveling poop, and he looks at Percy as Percy's telling him who's going on the quest. And Percy tells Grover, I chose you. And Grover doesn't believe him. And it's the look in Grover's eyes as he's looking at Percy. And you can see everything he's feeling laid out completely. Because Grover is relatively young for a satyr. And in his previous mission when he helped Annabeth and Luke get to Camp Half-Blood, he feels that he failed because he ended up losing a member. And though Thalia sacrificed herself willingly to protect them, he still feels that as the protector he failed. And Thalia wasn't just any demigod, she was a child of the Big Three. And then years later, Grover gets another mission, and he's sent to protect Percy. And he knows that Percy's an incredibly powerful demigod, but he doesn't yet know that he is Poseidon's child. And these are two relatively young boys who essentially spend the year being each other's only friend. And we know that Grover doesn't have a massive group of friends back at Camp Half-Blood. And it's likely that Grover started to see Percy as his family at this time because they spent day in, day out together. But when it really comes down to it, Grover will always prioritize Percy's safety over his own feelings. And for someone who is essentially still a kid, he's been given this massive responsibility, and he takes it so seriously. He betrays Percy and gets him kicked out of school, and when they get to Camp Half-Blood, Grover tries to explain, but Percy's really mad at him. And this changes slightly from the book, but I'm going based on the show. Grover genuinely doesn't know if Percy's ever going to forgive him, especially after Percy loses his mother. But he will still always prioritize Percy. And so he goes against the camp director's orders and he tells Percy that his mother is still alive. And Grover's also probably freaking out thinking, how the hell did I get paired with another child of the Big Three? But he's still so determined to prioritize Percy and keep Percy safe and keep Percy alive. And to ultimately give Percy that life that he deserved by helping him get Sally back. Even if it means that Percy's still not going to be his friend and he's going to be stuck shoveling poop. And then Percy goes up to him and he tells him, I want you on the quest with me because I trust you. And Grover looks up at him and you can see everything in his eyes. You can see that tentative hope and that wistfulness and also that deep fear that the same thing that happened to Thalia might happen to Percy. And more than anything, you can see the love that Grover has for Percy. I just think that it is astonishing acting from these children.